ain't nothing worse than a smart dumb.
Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo! Hey yo!
So welcome everybody to another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. Today I am trying to figure out if I've done this before. If not, today I am switching sides with my host. I was a guest, happily a guest on her podcast, and now here we are. Fast forward, and I'm returning the favor. Happy to shift the focus and put the spotlight on you and everything going on with you. So welcome. You are affectionately known as BrownGirlInterrupting, but let me allow you to just take some time to just speak on you just in general. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. And this is such an honor to be on the other side because I really enjoyed the conversation we had, and just to continue the conversation is nice. So I'm Marya Kazmi, also known as Brown Girl Interrupting. But I'm a lot of things, I would say. I'm a mom of four. Celebrate the 20th of my third son this week.
Awesome.
And I am a visionary. I'm a creator. I'm a writer. I do art, but I also created a talk show, which is where you and I have connected and shared, called Pain to Power. And I got some other ventures, but I work in race and equity by day, and I create, I guess, by night. That's it. So that's me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. We will definitely touch the various layers for sure. Now, there's definitely the podcast. As far as arts, you are a writer. When we first met, you are also avid in the poetry space, being a supporter, being way too modest on that. So just even a simple question there. I think so. As far as like the writing, like I think you will say maybe, and if it's not even the right term, but give yourself grace. Like you are like a writer. You accept that, you receive that. We try to call you a poet. You're like, I don't know about this. So I just want to know, like we all, like I've spoken to, with previous guests about, the imposter syndrome. A lot of us have it, like. But just for you, what is the difference? Like, what is it about writer, which is like you accept that, and then poet is like, but I see. Like, can you expound on that?
Okay, that's a really good question, because honestly, writer took a while too. So it was like, I mean, I like writing. I mean, I kind of do it, like some people read the stuff I write, but it took me almost 2 years to finally call myself a writer, after doing a blog and like making a website, like all the stuff. But like, I think that I tend to feel like if I don't do it and this is like something I'm trying to unlearn, but at perfection level, if I don't do it consistently, if I don't do it all the time, then it can't be what I'm doing. Right. And I just called myself an artist because I've like also trying to own that too now. Right. Like, yeah, I make visual art too. Right. Like,
right.
But poetry for me was harder because, and like you said, like I'm an avid fan of the poetry scene in DC, and you and so many other brilliant poets just have this command of the stage, of the word, of the emotion, the feeling. Like I feel that I'm not there, right? So for me, I guess that's where that imposter syndrome comes in. Because I write some poetry, right? But not to the same level as you're writing poetry. Like, I think it's like, I feel like you and Miko and Chet Been Cool, like are writing it in your sleep, right? like you're dreaming and breathing poetry. I don't dream and breathe poetry. I dream and breathe writing. I dream and breathe like just all the different ideas, but it's not poetry. So I guess that was my struggle.
Okay. Okay, I can respect it. And I just wanted to, yeah, I wanted to hear another because everybody has their reason, right? And I don't, and I definitely want to, honor and validate them all. I appreciate those kind words, but then we're also going to say like we're not like we have not hogged the space. There's still plenty of space for plenty of stories, and all of that. But I understand. I understand. But I think even just to if me summarize is like when if somebody said name the pat because everything can be a passion, so it's fair. So name the passions is going to be something else, and that's why. And again, yeah, that's fair. You still a poet though, because you a lot of it
No,
said.
and can I say honestly, like the last
Sure.
time you and I were together, and you were the feature, and I mean you were amazing, and I
Right.
got up to do the open mic part. Like I think what you said to me resonated in my ability to see myself more as a poet and more as a spoken word artist, right?
Right.
Like so I was able to own it because even though I was on my phone, which for me felt like I can't be a poet if I haven't
Right.
memorized
Right.
words,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
But what you said about how I delivered the words and
Yeah.
the feelings behind it made me realize that it is that imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like it's something I gotta get over on my own
Right.
of what that is. And we always like create these narratives of what things are. So
Right.
it's that constant undoing.
And I wonder and I wonder if I said this specifically, but also if like this does not imposter syndrome does not stop with you, and it does not stop at a certain level. Like you're elite. When I think of the people who just like I was at at a closed mic at a showcase, so that should tell them something already. There was 6, 7 people. It's a room full of artists, but these are the ones that were like y'all are the ones who get to perform. So how is it imposter syndrome? When we have the curator has already placed it. They're not doing no favors. Like they
Yeah.
got, this is a business they're running, and they say, I want that person. So even that person can have a small amount of doubt to where, to where just the encouraging words for myself. And I know I have a place, and I also can say who I was talking to is in a different tier, but they're still human. We're all still human. They still needed that moment to just like, yeah, remember who you are. So that's why, that was the energy for which we, the conversation that we had. Cause I'm like, you were wowing the same crowd. Like they were reacting to you as well. Like you can't, so, but, yeah, I appreciate, I just, it's thank you for that. Cause that's one more message that the next person needed to hear. And they're one step closer to, just like, all right, let me just do what I do versus worry about what I don't do.
Yeah.
That's basically,
Yeah. That's a
that.
good one. Do what I do instead of worrying
Right.
about what I
I,
don't do. Because then you
and
just
we,
like you live in your authenticity, right? Like I
yeah,
show up in whatever it is and I don't have to be the exact of anything.
at all. No, and then not doing that is the nice thing. I mean, yeah, as long as if we're doing slam poetry, you got to get that score. That's a different story, a whole different story.
Right, right. No, I won't be in those.
I would not either. I would not either.
And it's the feeling you get from the catharsis, and then I think the sharing it with others. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is, right? It's that piece that comes from any kind of art that
Right.
people create.
Right. And yeah, like the oohs and ahs and snaps and all that, like that's the most outward, immediate reaction. But that story you tell, like that story that was yours, that wasn't somebody else, is gonna reach that person who needed that more than they needed anything else.
Yeah.
And that's just as important, than whoever got the loudest claps. So for sure. Now as far as you there's the writing, there's the artistry, and there's paint the power to show like the podcast. So we can go anywhere with that. I'll say the podcast. I was a guest there. We're on one now. So please speak. I want like all like the origin story, the idea, all of that. Like let's do it.
All right, so it's a long one. You ready? No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, like, so honestly, so the podcast really started with my writing,
Okay.
and it was this. Like, I was married for 17 years with 4 kids out of it, and it took me probably the last 7 to finally wake up and be like, I can leave, right? It was a manipulative, controlling marriage with a narcissist, and there was a lot of undoing. And when I came out, I was at this place where I was like, oh, I'm gonna be great. Like, I'm great. I'm good. I got this, right? I got life. I got everything. Started dating, like, did all the things. And then I started to unravel, and everything started to unravel around me. And so I started writing. And writing was my healing. It was telling the story of, ooh, being a parent after divorce is hard. Like, oh, your kids are angry at you, and dating is hard, and oh my God, I've got to undo all these messages I thought were the reality of me. And like, talk about imposter syndrome and self-confidence. Like, my imposter syndrome also is very much from the fact that I was told for 17 years of how worthless I was, right? Like, so it adds on, like, all of it adds on. So I started writing, and I wrote with, I like this, made this tiny little blog that was just my stories, right? It was literally, I made my own website, like, it was super, super, like, here are 5 friends. You want to read the thing I wrote? Like, that was it. But then I would start meeting people along the way that were friends of friends, and they'd be like, oh, I read your piece. And I was like, you read my piece? Like,
Right.
what do you mean? Like, and then, they'd be like, oh, that totally, like, captured exactly what I've been feeling. And I just didn't have the words for it. Like, it was just like this constant validation, but also like this reminder that my story was helping other people in their stories. And then through that, they would start telling me their stories. And what I started to realize after writing and writing for myself for so long was that I have been creating my pain into power. Like, that has been my journey.
Right.
And I actually wrote a piece called Pain to Power before the show even started, right? And I didn't know that that was going to be the catalyst to the show eventually, right? But I wanted to, I guess it was like 2 years into the writing, that I was like, I really think it's more about other people's stories and elevating the stories of others that have taken their pain and turned it into power and are now doing these tremendous things to lead others to gain the tools, to gain the awareness, right? So for you, like, talking to you, watching your sets, like, seeing you as a poet, I wanted to have you on the show because your story is why you get up and do what you do. And I think for me, that's it. It's that we often see the end result of people, but we don't see the journey that they took to get there and how much it took to get there. Right. And that's where we, one, get validated, but also, like, we get the tools to know, well, we can do it too. Like, oh, I can leave my marriage too, even if it's miserable. Like, I can move through mental illness and mental health issues and be okay, because there are all these other ways to address it, right? Like, I think about it this way. Healing is a choice.
Yes.
And not everybody makes that choice.
Right.
But for the ones who do, they find their own grounding, they find their own center. And some people take it to that next level and start to help others to heal. And that's what the show has been. And it's been 5 seasons of a lot of amazing, amazing people sharing with me things that have helped me to heal too.
Nice. All right, name your favorite. No, I'm just kidding. But
all of them.
Right, I like it. Yes, very good. So one, like, even coming back to the statement that you made as far as, like, even when we bring it all the way back to the poets, and it, you see people that seem like it just flows so seamless, but even the Pain to Power story is like, no, it was a journey to figure.
Right.
It was a journey to know my voice. It was a journey to figure out how to get that out and all that type of stuff. And even the poems, like, yeah, if it shows up, if something new comes in, in a few hours, that's because it also was, a whole bunch of time in the past and all that. So that's, yes, for sure. The Pain to Power story it resonates. And I like that your guests have, like you just said, like, you referenced, divorce. I'm also divorced, and figuring out, needing, realizing, okay, it isn't it. Okay. To some extent, I'm disappointing the parents. That's not what religion says. We don't fit, all that. I get it. Okay, all that, and also, we gotta keep moving. You know,
We got to keep moving. That's the
yeah,
big one, right?
yeah. And I think, you know, and just on that, it's like it would be different if there's no, if this isn't a move being made for improvement, if it's just quitting. But no, it's like a realization, like, all right, man, the only reason I'd be doing this is to make it look, you know, one way for everybody else, but it just doesn't make sense anymore. It just is what it is.
And there's not one way, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
that's what I think my goal of the show is exactly that, is that there's so many entry points and there's so many different ways. And because of my work in equity and race, which is like the foundation of my work and what I
Mhm.
do and what my business has been based in is essentially like DEI, but I like to call it race and equity, right?
Yeah.
Anti-racism. But it's all about the idea of counter storytelling, which is
Mm.
oftentimes we assume things about people. We assume things about their stories. We assume things about their lives. And for me, a lot of this is to dispel that and
Mhm.
to create community and connection across differences sometimes, to be able to see people in their authentic stories and not the stories that we're creating about them.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's the beauty of, you know, yes, the access that we all have, the resources now. We get to tell more stories than the what the four major networks used to be, and then now even, you know, whoever's the major space in social media, that's cool and all, but there's still space elsewhere. And I think, you know, even what you were saying, like there's resilience. Like shout out to you for not leaving it at, okay, I mean, I just got my five friends. It's like just kept creating. Now, I don't know, you know, you for all, you know, were you one more story away from like, let me hang this up, and then somebody said, hey, that you didn't know, like maybe if that was the case, you know, but even if that was the case, it worked out. But you know, I appreciate the longevity that you 5 seasons is a lot of seasons.
I
That's
appreciate that.
commendable.
Yeah,
That's
I
commendable.
mean, there are definitely days I think where, yeah, I want to be done. Right. Like I take breaks too. So I haven't done a show. Pain to Power usually comes on Sundays at 8 o'clock. Shameless plug
Right.
on Brown Girl
Absolutely.
Interrupting on
Right.
YouTube. But
Right.
everybody should go check it out.
Right.
But I took a break. Like, like I have to also, I think this is an interesting thing. And maybe I'm sure you feel it too, right? Like when you're creating and you're also creating content and you're also like everything you do, I think it's different to create content that is about something and not about yourself. When you
Mm.
start doing things that have to be about yourself, it takes a piece of you. It's exhausting.
Yes.
And it sometimes it you are forced. I know, like for me, I'm forced between like this space of performing and really just being. And when I
Mm.
start to get to performing, that's when I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is not you. This is you showing something that you know is going to, maybe more people are going to watch or people are going to comment or whatever. Like, is that really what you want to be doing? And I don't do it often, but I feel like I realized for me, that's the test. Like, that's the limit. And that's when I pare back because it, I, I did 5 seasons, but I do a lot of breaks between those 5 seasons to
Mm-hmm.
recalibrate and take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get lost a little bit in it. Like, I don't know, is it making a difference? Like, honestly, like I've been doing it for 5 seasons, but it's not like I'm like blowing up or anything, right? Like I am, and I'm going to. Words have power. Words
Yeah.
have power. It's not yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I believe it. Like, and I think that's it. Sometimes a lot of it is, it's like what we believe about ourselves is what drives us. And I really do believe that there's power in what I do and what I've been building, and that it's going to become bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I keep that resilience going because I believe in it.
Absolutely. And it, just like you said, there is no one way. There's no. It'll just that when that moment happens, it'll be a result of consistency and resilience, not, you know, not necessarily like the random day that'll kick it off, and then now people are going back and checking episode 3 and episode 22, and then, you know, the last, like it's not gonna be like, oh, it's because, you know, I just should have done X the whole time. Nah, it's just algorithm finally said, hey, it's this show's time. You know what I mean? And then they'll see, then the quality will show up. But like now that, yeah, you'll never get me to, I'll be the last one to, I fully support the whole, take the break when the break is necessary. I know I'm not talking to lazy people. So, when the recharge is necessary here, and then once the recharge happens, then you come back, giving your all to the product that is being presented. So definitely makes sense.
You get a model of self-care, right?
Yeah. No, listen. Yeah. First and foremost over here. First and foremost
right.
over here for sure. So now what was the time frame between when the podcast finally started? Like how long I know you said it was 2 years of writing before you were willing to give yourself credit. Is that what you're saying? Like you had been writing for 2 years before you really allowed yourself to put that title on?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I had been writing for 2 years, and I think like I didn't call myself a writer. I thought like a writer is someone who publishes a book. A writer is someone who like people buy their stuff. Like I just didn't see myself as a writer. I saw myself as someone who wrote. Like I was writing. Right. But I wasn't a writer.
Right. I get it. We don't want to we can all point and be like, no, that you're being too hard on yourself. And then the next time it's that person's turn, they're going to do the exact same thing with different words, different justification, but the same general energy. So I think, and that's where community comes in. Is like, because a lot of the imposter syndrome is isolation based. So yeah, when you don't have that other, like that validation is important. Just that, hey, you belong, your voice, your story, your contribution matters, and it's like we need to feed the next person with that. More than a lot of us would just do that ourselves, so it's fair, but again, you're a writer too. You're a poet and a writer and an artist, a podcast.
I appreciate it. Look, I'll take it all. I'm owning it now.
Getting there, yeah. And
I think a lot of it just comes down to like we all want to be seen and understood, and for you to see me as something that I can't see in myself, like that's being seen at like a level of deeper than just the surface of what I'm showing you. You're seeing deeper into me. And that's powerful, right? Like, and I love what you said about community, because I think you're very right. Like that's, if you're not in community, then you can go into your head and like start playing your own story about who you are and who you aren't, and all your deficits in your mind without people reminding you of your light, of your gifts, of your beauty that you bring into their lives, right? We need to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, so we're going to get more into Pain of Power, and also, there are some announcements, there are some, there's some information that you would like, people to hear, and I'd love for you to share it. So looking forward to getting into that.
I love it.
All right. This episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast has been brought to you in part by Audacity Magazine. Audacity Magazine and Events has been amplifying young professionals and small businesses for the last 5 years. If that describes you, then I invite you to get an Audacity subscription, aka join the Audacity team. You can enjoy benefits that include 2 events a month, whether virtual or in person in Atlanta, bi-weekly power hours that serve as accountability as well as brainstorming sessions, entry into a WhatsApp group chat of fellow entrepreneurs, free shipping on merch, and a free entry into the fetch list, which, yes, is a nod to Mean Girls, and no, not a reference that I personally understood. The fetch list is, however, a directory accessible by those who are tapped in with Audacity, which means it can help you find your next customer. Now, I think it's safe to say that 5 years of anything can never be sufficiently covered in one ad. So to learn more, visit audacitymagazine.org. And to inquire about advertising across their different platforms, email audacitymagazineonline@gmail.com. That's Audacity, MAG, online@gmail.com. All right, so welcome back to the show. So once again, you know how like it's right there, but please, how do you say your first name again? I know I don't want to mess it up.
Marya.
Marya. I'm like, I know it wasn't two, it was like one of three. That's what it was. It was like one of three things.
I get a lot of different ones. Yeah.
All right. What? Okay, we'll do that. What's the craziest mispronunciation of your name? Either one.
Craziest. I don't know if there's.
Have you got Myra before?
Myra, Maria.
Yeah, that was
Myrna. Oh, Myrna. Someone called me Myrna one time. I was like, where did you get the N from? Like, you just threw in extra consonants. now I got questions because that's like extra consonants. Like,
right. Mariah, Maria. All right.
Mariah, a lot of Mariah.
Yeah. But Myrna is incredible. That's It's like they looked at three letters and said, I got it. Take it from here. You have Brown Girl Interrupting, Pain to Power podcast. You are a poet. I love just throwing that. Just gotta keep throwing. But as far as Pain to Power, the Pain to Power podcast, like are you currently on a break on stepping back?
So only for the summer. A lot of times it becomes because I just want to be with my kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like there was a lot of kid things, a lot of family things. And just to kind of like recalibrate, think about some different ideas. So I'm back again. August 31st is my next episode, and we keep going with season 5. It's going to be really amazing artists and different guests coming on. So definitely tune in on Sundays at 8 p.m. on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube.
Thank you. Because I was the first time I was like, now, okay, we're going to have you say it again and much slower, not rush it through. So that's cool. We still going to, you still got one more planned at the end. And, more like, more.
Everybody's going to know it by the end of this, right?
They're
all going to be on YouTube, ready to, watch it.
At 7:58 on the
7:58, right? Can't miss it. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm always marketing it and promoting. Yes.
Absolutely. So not only, we're coming up with season 5, we're coming up with guests, but we're also coming with some new information, some new ideas. So please share some of that information.
So I'm really excited because I am launching a course that I created called Empowerment Unlocked. Okay. And the whole idea is going back to Pain to Power, right? This is what I do. What I've been doing is trying to figure out my own healing, but helping others to heal through tools I've gained along the way. And so Empowerment Unlocked is really taking a core idea that I work in when I do work with race and equity called the cycle of socialization, which is this theoretical idea, but it's really unpacking how are we socialized and how do we undo that socialization. So we've all been given all these different roles of what it is to be a man or a woman and what it is to have emotions or not emotions, how to deal with, our in parenting, how we approach things, right? Like all these different things and how do we start to unpack that? So over 5 different days, we're going to do, it's a 1-hour course for 5 days. And the goal is to truly spend time in unpacking and understanding ourselves individually. So I'm going to walk people through that process with a lot of community building, with some mindfulness, with journaling, with conversations, and starting to just come to understand what are the patterns that you yourself have been holding on to that have not served you, and how do you start to identify them, let go of them, and reframe your story of who it is? So for me, it's just guiding and helping people to come home to their authentic selves.
That's a that that ending was very, very, very poetic, very, very artist, and and facetiousness aside, there's a lot of intention in your branding, and I want you to even touch on that. There's Pain to Power, the podcast. This is Empowerment Unlocked. Like these are very strong words, strong phrases, like very intentional with the branding. Like, is that an extension of what as a professional? Is that just like how did you arrive to using the type of wording and verbiage that you have?
I think it's what I've experienced.
Mm.
Right? I think it's that we don't always. Power is such a thing that, like, I think we talk about. There's so many different types, right? There's power over.
Mm-hmm.
There's power with. There's power within, right? And I think we often, when we think power over. Idea of really knowing and understanding that we hold the power and the key to be able to heal ourselves, to be our best selves. And I think for me, it's because I lost it, right? And I think that's the other thing, is that all of it is it's reclaiming what already existed. For everyone, we had it before the world told us we didn't, before society told us we needed to be something different than who we were, before, and it is connected to my work because it does with racism. It has to do with bigotry. It has to do with all those things, right? Like all of those things. But then sometimes it's just us as humans being unkind, or just like thinking that we have to be this kind of person, this kind of professional, or this kind of parent, or this kind of child to our parents, right? Like all those things take away our knowing of ourselves and our authenticity of being that. So for me, that is, like empowerment is the power within me. Pain to Power is the power that people chose to move to in order to heal themselves. So I've never actually heard anybody say that to me before, but yeah, you're right. Like, I think it is. And Brown Girl Interrupting is really intentional too. The story behind that is that, like, honestly, for me, identity has been the most confusing part. Like, I actually think the girl and the interrupting is the one that makes the most sense, but being brown in a society that's mostly binary, white and black in many ways, in a job that's mostly black and white in many ways, is really complex.
Right.
And there's a lot of pieces of myself I rejected over the years that I'm trying to come home to self with my authenticity of what does that mean for me. So that brownness is a piece of it, like being a daughter of immigrants from Pakistan and Bangladesh, and being raised in America, and trying to figure out where do I fit in this world. And then the girl is like, yeah, being a woman is really hard.
Yeah.
And the narratives and the stories, like, I'm undoing so much of what that means, like culturally being a woman, but also just being a woman, right? And being a man is hard. Like, I'm gonna give that to, like, I think everybody has their own difficulties of what that looks like. But I'm constantly learning that, right? Like, being a mom to boys is different than being a father to boys. And I have 3 boys. So there's a lot of learning I have to do within that. And then in interrupters, I've literally always, since I was a child, pushed against everything. Like, I'm an interrupter. I'm the one who's like, wait, but I got a question, right? Like, hold on. Did we really get to the details of that? What's the nuance behind that? What did you really mean by that, right? Like, I am the interrupter, like I've always been, right? So I just own it now, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, that's me. I am Brown Girl Interrupting.
Thank you so much. First, so thank you for having 2 different, two show branding in this program that had this tie that then reminded, because I wanted to, I actually, that was when we first started. It's like, oh yeah, where did Brown Girl? And then, got lost in the conversation. So thank you, because that was definitely, a story and a message that needed to be shared in and of itself. So see, it all worked out.
I love
All
that.
worked out. Just
Great
great. So,
questions.
thank you, thank you. Yeah. So now, as far as empowerment unlocked, you know, how will people be able to, tap in and tune into that?
So for right now, follow me on social media because I'll be launching all the marketing and the promos, and you'll be able to easily, just click on the link and sign up. It's all virtual,
Hmm.
so anybody from anywhere can join, and it's an hour session each over 5 weeks. And I mean, that's really it. Like all the information will be, so follow me on my socials, Brown Girl Interrupting on everything, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And LinkedIn, and you'll be able to see when those courses are coming up, and then just you'll click a link and set it up and be live with me. And if you're on Substack, I'm probably going to be doing some like little promos and some teasers, so you get to kind of experience what it is to be a part of that kind of conversation with me and do some of that internal work.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. So okay, virtual. So United States, Bangladesh,
Anywhere,
everybody
right?
anywhere
Yes,
in
for
between. Yeah,
certain.
yeah. No, very nice.
Absolutely.
Now, and then Substack, that was already like that was when you first began your writing. You were there, or soon after.
No, I
Oh, that's
just
new.
joined Substack. Are you in Substack?
Ooh, now I'm familiar, and I just I'm
You got to
familiar,
get
but
on
I've never.
Substack.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of community. I'm gonna
yeah.
say, like, I just started maybe like 4 months ago, and I think my new thing is I'm just telling everybody. I was like, you should be on Substack. Like, I just feel
Right.
like you got a story. You should be on Substack. Like everybody should
That's
be on
funny.
Substack is what I feel
Yeah,
personally. but
yeah, yeah.
but it's a very so I actually um I had started to create these courses in the just before the summer, and that's when I reached out to you, actually, right? And we kind of connected again on me being on your podcast, and
Right.
but I they different things happened, and timing, it wasn't the timing, right? I love that you said that before, right? Like it's not the timing. Sometimes things happen in the right time. And so I really believe in the idea of flow and trying, not pushing things. So but what ended up happening is right after that, I got on Substack and just started writing, like really writing and writing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and writing so much more than I had been for a long time. Because when I sometimes, I don't know if you ever feel this, but like sometimes it's hard to do lots of things at once. Okay.
Hmm.
Like it's
Absolutely.
hard to do the show and promote the show and do the show and also be writing at the same time. So like even though my passion is one place, when you start doing something that is like an expected process that's consistent and has to come out, then there's a different energy that has to go into it, a different level of planning and preparation and organization. And writing was more free fall. It was like when I wanted to, when it felt like it came up. So Substack has kind of almost made me a little bit more focused in it, but
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it because I write so much more often now.
Nice.
So yeah, I definitely like
Nice.
I really, and it's an intimate environment. It's very different than blogs have been for me, or even my website, which is where I used to write and post so much. But then on Substack, people are there just to read.
It's
So if you're a
very
writer,
intentional
I
audience.
mean,
Yeah.
if you are a writer, like this is to anybody watching right now, and to you, JP, right? If you are a writer, you should be on Substack because your community will continue to affirm and validate that your words are guiding others.
That's made. Now, how did you? So 4 months ago, what made you say, okay, let me sign up? Like, how did you get put on a Substack?
So actually, I think it was another poet that had just sent me something she had written.
Ah,
And I just like went on and I read her thing. I commented and I had to join Substack in that. And then she was like, you should really write on there. And so I started like a little bit here and there, and it's taken some minute. I mean, like I have 53 followers, which is very exciting for me. Okay, like
Well, nice.
53. That's like,
Absolutely.
I keep saying, I saw one place someone said that the number of people like that are watching you or following you, like so when you post your show and like the number of people, think about it as that's how many people like are actually watching you.
Yeah.
So like if you imagine a venue, that's
Right.
20 people in your venue, that's 50
Right.
people in your venue, right? Like
Right.
which has helped me to make more sense of it because I used to be like, oh, but it's only, you know, like so it shifts that mindset. But yeah, 53 people, that's a small venue of people reading my writing.
Yeah, we'll take that. And again, for that, they didn't come here looking for an NBA game. They didn't come here looking for, you know, they didn't come here looking for breakfast. Like this, it was the Substack of your writing. They knew where they were going. They clicked, you know. So like when we had our, you know, we have our websites and we have like, because you know, yeah, we get, you know, those gaudy numbers in social media. But you can buy those. They can be bots. They can just, you know. But this was a very intentional group of people that went to go. So yeah, I'm glad. It's good to be able to say like, no, that's 53 more than when you started. And it's, you know what I mean? And it's going
and these
to go.
are writers. So I'm like, writers are reading
Yeah.
my writing. Like, so when it was on my website, it was different. It was like friends were reading my writing, right? Like people who follow me already, but these are strangers reading my writing and telling me that the words I'm giving them to understand their own lives are helping them, right? Or giving them guidance. And like that's why I started writing to begin with. So it's feeding me. I think sometimes we just find things that feed our soul again. So that's been a big one.
It's been sound like it's been refreshing.
Yeah. And I needed it. I needed it at the moment.
Yeah, new challenge, new endeavor. Now that's great. That's wonderful. And I feel like that's what that seems like that's what the course is going to do for you as you know get folks who can, you know, who are being fed from and get the information that you have for them, but it's going to be like just another, you know, passion project.
Absolutely.
For you to engage in. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, because it's really bringing my two places of love and passion together because it's facilitating conversations, which is what I do in my day job. And it's healing and empowerment, which is what I do in my creative spaces.
Nice, very nice. Now, whatever is your discretion, whatever level, however much you want to make it, you know, political and administration based, but what has 2025 been like doing what you do?
I think it has, I think at first it felt so scary and very, very much like, is this work going to disappear? Are people going to still talk about this? Do you have to change everything now, right? Like, do you have to change my branding? Do I have to change my goals? Do I have to change the things on my website that I spent all this time? I literally had just launched my brand new website with DI all over it. Right at the, like, it really was like January. I had a whole show and I launched my website and like, and I think for a second, I'm going to admit, like, I really was like, do I change stuff now? Like, what do I do? Like, and what I think I've realized and seen is that this is necessary even more than before, right? In many ways. And I think people are searching for it even more than before because people are recognizing and realizing how integral these conversations are and this type of environment created is to humanity. Like, healing is about our humanity and seeing our own humanity, but then seeing other people's humanity. And so that's, I think, like where I am now is that I am just going to keep pushing forward, regardless of what's around, regardless of what what's stopping people, what's stopping the conversations, is that we need to continue to focus on healing and focus on seeing the humanity in each other. And the more that we heal individually, the more we're able to see the humanity in each other. And I think that's been like my biggest goal. And that requires conversations about race, and because we are racial beings, because we experience things through the lens of our perspective of who we are, and we are, and people perceive us through the lens of what they believe we are, right? And that impacts our everyday. So yeah, we have to talk about that stuff, and we have to talk about all the systemic things happening. I just of a place is that it's not hammering it into people. I think it's truly building community and just helping everyone to see the humanity in each other.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely, very well stated. And at some point, sometimes we step back and say, powers that be why is this getting so much attention? Why is this so much of y'all, why is this concerning you all so much? Maybe this must be pretty,
because it's
what I'm doing
threatening,
must be
right?
pretty,
Right,
it must be pretty important.
Freaking powerful, right?
So,
Yeah.
definitely another way. So yes, you are definitely a, everybody in that space is a front line, so to speak. Type of, you all are definitely, directly impacting doing work. Artists who are choosing to share their story, share their truth. Like this is, it's important right now in a space where all of these things are continuously getting challenged. The media, the public media, the public journalism that isn't, the rhetoric is getting attacked. I think it's fascinating when it's the infighting. Like even that network that was propaganda has fallen out of favor. It's like, wow, everybody's on very random, very random. You got boys though. Did your household ever have South Park on?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So so I grew up. That was my jam. The first episode had like a reference to a cartoon that I used to watch, and they had me for years. I was not impressed with this episode, the one they just did, the season premiere. And so I don't know if you we talk about
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it in years. I mean,
right.
It was on there at one point, but I haven't seen it in years. So
right.
what happened in the
Absolutely.
episode?
So basically South Park, I believe, hopped over to Paramount. Paramount on CBS or CBS. I think Paramount owns CBS. CBS is going through it right now. Like they are in Trump's crosshairs and taking the news programs off. They canceled Colbert. So South Park being South Park, they're like, yeah, no, we're gonna go ahead and just jump right in the fire, antagonize him. They did a whole, crazy parody and only the TVMA that they could do, and all that type of stuff. And so that's cool. We don't have a whole lot Jon Stewart Daily Show. He had done a whole segment when they canceled because that's Colbert's his buddy. You have you can count how many people are willing to be out there in front and center and say something bad about that man. And so yeah, that was cool that South Park did it. I didn't really care for what they it was. I was like, that's it. This is what y'all but it's cool. People were just so excited. That's what it was. They're just so excited to see somebody stand up to the bully. Is really what it was.
And I guess the thing is everybody stands up in their own way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's okay too, because and that was hard for me. I had to process that a little bit. Wasn't sure, am I doing enough? Am I saying enough? Am I I struggle with that sometimes. Because I don't openly speak on my platform against a lot of things necessarily, and not because I'm not against them, but because for me, I really believe the tool is that what we do with it is the next step, right? And for what we do, for me, in my power, in what I know, in what I have seen helping, is truly to understand ourselves in knowing who we are in our authenticity and being able to see everybody else in that. Mm-hmm. And not that solves all the problems in the world, because it doesn't.
Well,
But it
no,
solves a lot. It solves a lot. I've sat in rooms, I've facilitated conversations in rooms with people who were on very different ends of things. And by seeing each other in their humanity, by seeing that, oh, we both have these stories and we both have backgrounds and we both have experienced things and we both have seen sadness and grief, that why are we arguing? Because then what you're saying is real, what you're feeling is real, and I need to hear it
right,
because we
right,
have empathy.
right, right. You know, and where I am with that is it's like, no, don't. That is the extension of the artist style. This person does it this way, this one does it that way, and they all have like sometimes we need a radical voice to talk to, a certain group or in that context. Sometimes we need to come in with a peaceful, like people are coming in ready for fight and they see see an environment, they hear this soothing voice. They're like, man, let me, they get to see her, like, listen to this other, I'm talking to a human. Like, I think of, old Cat Williams joke when he was like the government had us calling a group of people insurgents, and we were like, well, I don't know an insurgent. Like, none of them are my people. Like, I don't have any in that family. So y'all do whatever they want to them. It's like we dehumanize folks, and that's why it's okay. Like, we're looking at the things happening, to
Yeah.
people. So yeah, no, there is a need for all of these things, and that includes, the work that isn't, and this is actually not towards you. This is towards the next person who is motivated by you and is just to just exist. And is that is it a viral? No, but that's just human. Like, some people need to just remember again, just to be a human. Like, so
Mm.
much craziness going on. The blessing to wake up and go to the grocery store, get something, come back home, take a nap. Like, you can still do that, right? It doesn't seem like it, and unfortunately, there are these other parts of the world where you can't. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, just start there. And
Yeah.
then, at some point, yeah, maybe you can, maybe somebody, can choose to spend a day or make a donation or, something like that to this big deal type thing. But like, let's, and AI, I don't even get into that. Like, just let's be humans. Like do that. You know what I
Be
mean? Like, I
humans
think,
and treat each other like
and
humans.
treat
Because
them,
you're
yes.
right. Like, I think like
Thank you.
that's it. Like so much of people turning on other people, like, and I mean, in all the deportations and all the arrests and I mean, and all the deaths, right? Like
Yeah.
everything is a lack of seeing each other as human. Like the dehumanization is real. And we've done and because I think almost like, because we've been stuck in so many other things, like I think about this idea of embodiment, like really feeling and experiencing things in the embodiment of connection with others,
Hmm.
through so many different ways. I just read the book Anxious Generation, and there's so much in there about this idea of cell phone use and how it disconnected us from humans. And it's about kids and it's about the next generation. But the truth is, as adults, we're all doing it too,
Yeah.
right? But it's desensitized us.
Right.
And that community aspect isn't there anymore. So yeah, I think for me, a lot of it's community, it's healing, and it's humanity, like all of it together.
Yeah. Yeah. This is I love how this I love how this pivoted, and it's great. And so even, yeah, empowerment unlocked, humanity unlocked. Like, just
Right.
it really all comes just from do your part, provide your contribution, bring your experience, your story. So I look forward to people who are going to find your program, find their confidence in themselves again, and then go contribute in the arts, in the making, in the contributing to bringing the world up and continuing to build it up versus, exclusively tearing down or even us thinking that that's all that happens. Like, sometimes we also forget the loudest stories aren't the most prevalent. Like, and the cooked up stories aren't the most important.
Right. Right. That too, right?
That too.
We've been hoaxed, right? Like there's a program. We got to
Yeah.
unprogram
So
ourselves.
when we talk, yeah, when we talk about that cell phone, yeah, you I mean, it's like, they really make it hard to do, but when you just turn it off, it is a completely different world out there.
Right?
Completely
Right? Like
different.
disconnect for a little while, then you're
Yeah.
not on social. And I mean, it's hard for me because I'm a content creator. Not
Yes.
really like I'm a creative who has to create content, is what I would like
Right.
to say. I think maybe
Right.
like that's the right term, right?
You know,
And it's not even a have to, but I think I want to because it gains people that hear the message, right?
right.
So I don't just make stuff to make stuff. Like I
Right.
always have something to say, right? Lately I've been giving a lot of advice to men. I realize in different ways, but also to moms of boys. Like that's been my area of like of space. But I think, every once in a while I do feel like, because of that, like I'm always like part of the book was talking about how like even when your phone isn't on,
Right.
if it's with you in person, you're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. You're just
It's on your
one.
mind.
Yeah. Right. Right.
With notifications of like, oh, that thing I posted, how many people watched it or how many people did this? And I'm trying really hard to get out of that because it's hard. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard. I'm gonna admit
It
it.
is.
Like it's hard.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
I think
That's why
there's
somebody
always
wrote about it. Like somebody put a whole book about it. No, 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 absolutely.
right. You wrote a whole book about it, but it's like a combination of our ego
Mhm.
and our like insecurities.
Right.
But also like we've been socialized to think this
Yeah.
is the thing.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah.
And this is what's important and valued. So real face-to-face conversations have less value than what did I post and how many people liked it.
Right. Right. They put it, yeah, because they put a little currency. I can't like you and I having a conversation. There's no but there's no view count going up, right?
Right.
Like it's not quantifiable. You feel you leave a good conversation feeling something was better, but when they can put a number behind it, measure it against another score and all that, like yeah, that we can fall into that trap. I think one of the crazy, like early on, with Facebook, and I don't even remember what the conversation or interview was, but like, Mark Zuckerberg was like, wait, y'all don't cover y'all's webcams when you're using your computer? Like, really? It's like they're yeah, people are all like the same people who are making all of these.
Oh, right. No, they know it's crack. They know it's crack.
Right.
But they're creating it because it's crack, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
They're
giving them
not like they're not so no. You can create the content and then that does not mean you have to stay in there yourself at all.
No, I will say this one thing we say
Mhm.
a lot in my work, and I think is so indicative of so many things when it comes to the programs, right? But every system is designed exactly how it is to get the results it gets.
Yes. Yes. Very intentional.
Social media has been designed and I mean you got to read the book if you meant like I know you're in IT too, right? Like
Yeah.
like I mean this book like definitely like it talks about what social media companies were doing to develop this, right? Like and what they intentionally had to research and what kind of science went into it to actually even like really make sure how do we really keep people scrolling? How do we keep them addicted? It's crack. How do we keep them addicted? Literally, that's the marketing.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And I knew I was gonna do this, and I'm absolutely gonna do this. So where can people find you one more time?
You can find me on the social medias that as I just talked about all the things. Look, I live in some contradictions too because I'm trying to figure it all out like we all are, right?
Right.
So you can find me on Brown Girl Interrupting on YouTube, which is where you will find Pain to Power every Sunday starting August 31st again at 8 p.m. live. And it's live. It's got a audience like communication and audience interaction. You can be in the chat, all the things. Find me on all the socials. I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all under Brown Girl Interrupting. And You can follow me on my website, which has stuff as well. So yeah, that's everything. And stay tuned, because if you're on all those socials, you will see Empowerment Unlocked starting to launch in September. It's coming very soon. All the information will be out. But what you need to know is it is going to help you to unlock the things you need to start your healing journey and start to find yourself again.
Awesome. No, and y'all can do both. You can support, you can subscribe, you can follow,
Do it
and
all.
then at some point you can turn it off, and you can walk away from the device. And then we got enough, so you can do all these things. It's not either I don't use it at all or I'm a hypocrite. Like
No, you're right. I appreciate that.
Balance, moderation. We just need more of that. We just need more of that. It's all good.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so once again, I'm again so glad that we were able to switch sides. I was very, definitely go check out Pain to Power, my episode and many other episodes. Good people I know have been on her show, and yeah, go check. She the work is coming. The next season is coming back end of August. The rest of 2025. But yeah, 5 seasons of content. Like, there's a lot of great messaging that is over there on that show, and y'all should definitely go check that out.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. JP, thank you so much for this opportunity. This was such a great conversation. Like, I feel like I walked away with, okay, like, I'm thinking about this now. Like, that was awesome. So thank you so much. And for the opportunity to share, and reach your audience a little bit too.
Absolutely. And it was, the pleasure was mine as well. So thank you for being a guest. Thank you for all of those who have tuned in. This has been yet another episode of the Smart Dumb Podcast. Everybody have a great time.